what we're going to do today, and I want to, before we start with our first question here in this town hall, I want to brag on you a little bit because, the people only get to see you from afar, and there's very few of us that get to interact with you one-on-one. I want to tell you, this is a great guy to be around. I mean, he's a guy's guy right here. And he also has a big heart. And I just want to tell you a quick story that the national news media never covered about him. But when we had the hurricanes that hit, we had Hurricane Helene that hit southeast Georgia a couple of weeks ago. Number one, he was the first person on the ground in Valdosta, Georgia, right after those storms. And after I got to go and look at some of the communities that were hit, and they were hit hard, it was generational change there. I said to myself, I've got to do something about this, and I ended up calling a good friend, Georgia native of mine, named Jason Aldean. Y'all know Jason? Jason was doing a concert in Macon, Georgia. I said, Jason, I know you're from Macon, and I'm glad I'm coming to your concert. How about us team up together and do a little hurricane relief fund for the victims of the hurricane? And of course, Jason agreed wholeheartedly. But then I called this man, and at 7:30 in the morning, one ring, he picks up the phone. He goes, "Hello, Bert," And he doesn't ever waste any time. He's all business. He goes, "How we doing in Georgia, Bert?" I said, "We're doing great." I was like, "Look, I told him about the storm, and he was very obviously aware of it." And immediately I said, "Look, Jason Aldean and I are going to do something this Saturday night. Would you like to be a part?" Without hesitation, he said, "Yes, absolutely." He said something to somebody in the background, said, "Hey, let's put together something for Bert Jones and Jason Aldean, and let's team up with them." And I want to tell you something. They started a GoFundMe page on Tuesday. By Saturday of that same week, because of him, we had raised $7 million for the victims of the hurricane fund. And that was significant. I just want to thank you in front of this audience.
And Jason is terrific, by the way. He's always the first to jump in along with you. And you have a great lieutenant governor. And I have to tell you, we've also, and Bert and I have spoken about it, we also had a lot of help from your governor. He's been really great. And so we appreciate that. We've been all working together. Georgia got hit so hard, and it worked very well over here from the standpoint of people getting together and helping. FEMA has had a hard time. Nobody knows exactly why, but the federal government's response was, I don't know if it was as bad here as it was in North Carolina. I was in North Carolina yesterday, 3 different stops, and I followed it in. I actually followed the hurricane in. I went there, and it is not even believable, but FEMA, meaning the White House, did not do their job. They did not do their job. And we got to change it. We had a great FEMA when we were doing it. We had some problems too when FEMA came in and they handled it, but they're not. And they spent a lot of their money on other things. You know that. They spent a lot of their money on the illegal migrants coming in, almost $1 billion. And there was no money. And so now they're going to have a special session in Congress to try and get money. And it's too bad. It's too bad. But you know who did help us, though? Elon Musk. He helped us because they needed Starlink. I said, "What's Starlink?" They would tell me, "Sir, do you know Elon Musk?" I said, "Yeah, he endorsed me, right?" I said, "Yeah, he's great." He said, "You see that rocket ship come in the other day? Whoever saw anything like that?" Only Elon. I said, "Is that yours?" He said, "That's mine. That's the only one that can do it." But anyway, he needed Starlink. They needed Starlink badly in North Carolina. And I called him. I said, "Elon, they have a big problem." They had no communication. People were dying. He saved a lot of lives. And he had it over there so fast, it was amazing. They couldn't get it because it's hard to get. And it was sort of interesting because I was on the phone with him, and I said, Starlink, and we're talking a little bit, and the person called me that needed it so badly in North Carolina. During my call with Elon, I hadn't hung up. He said, "Thank you, sir, for getting a Starlink." I said, "How did you call them? How did you talk to them? We're still on the phone." He said, "Well, I have ways of doing things." But he got that to them right away, and it made a very big difference. Also, they got it into Georgia. So I want to thank Elon for being really very
Absolutely.
gracious and smart.
Absolutely. Thank you.